All right, now that this session is being recorded, again, I'm Coach Shannon. Welcome to Saturday's lecture. Ang sisipag nyo, kahit Saturday pumapasok kayo. That's good. So, before we start with the common mistakes in the IELTS, let me just highlight the importance of making mistakes. The importance of making mistakes and the importance of learning from our mistakes. Medyo nakakaabala po yung mga bagong pumapasok dito sa Zoom, ah. Okay. Baka mamaya pag sobrang busy na ako dito sa lecture, hindi ko na mapansin. I'm so sorry. But I'll keep looking. All right, so why is it so important to learn what are the common mistakes? Definitely, it's important for us to identify ano yung mga naging mali ng mga test takers before. Because from their mistakes, we learn and we avoid making the same mistakes. Okay? Ano yung mga hugot ni Sir Kevin dun sa GC? Nabasa niyo ba? Very nakakaaliw, di ba? So, sabi niya, ang tanging pagkakamali ko lang. Oh, pinabisado pa ni Sir. Very good. Ayan. Sir, ganito sila kapag wala ka dito. Okay, I'm just kidding. So, before we start with our lecture, let me just share something that I read from an article. Uy, nagbabasa. So, this article is entitled 10 Cheat Codes to Change Your Life in 2025. So, if you want to level up in your life, there are 10 cheat codes. But I'm not going to share all 10 of them because definitely we can't afford that right now. Okay, we don't have the luxury of time since we started quite late. But I'm going to share the one that is the most striking to me. Okay? Kasi associated to sa topic natin ngayon. Okay? Daming explanation. Okay, it's number 3. Turn failures into feedback. All right. So, ganian nating mga Pilipino, we hate criticism. But the thing is, there's what you call constructive criticism. What does that mean? It simply means, kaya ka binigyan ng criticism is because that person, your coach, wants you to improve. If a person is not pointing out your mistakes, wala siyang pakialam sa'yo. Alright? But here, dito sa samahan na to, we care. May kandidato lang. We care, di ba? So, kailangan, binavalue natin yung feedback na binibigay ng mga coach. Because hindi namin ibibigay yung feedback na yon kung hindi importante, if it's not essential for your growth and your development. So, makapagpapasa na ba lahat ng writing outputs kay Sir Kevin kasi pinag-iinit na yung ulo niya. Alright, so it says here, instead of dwelling on mistakes, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? Growth comes from lessons, not setbacks. Okay. I know we hate failure, we hate criticism, but then sometimes we need to go through it in order to grow. Kasi ganun yun. A diamond doesn't become bright and shiny unless it undergoes great pressure. It's undergoing extreme, what do you call this? Yung heat. So, ganon. If you want to turn into a diamond eventually, or to bring out the best in you, you want to reach the best version of yourself, if you want to reach yung goal mo dito sa IELTS, which is to achieve a 9. A 9 talaga. Di ba? So, kailangan mong pagdaanan yung pressure. And I think every time you attend Sir Kevin's lecture, damang-dama mo yung pressure na sinasabi natin ngayon. Okay? Medyo masama ko ko sa mga nagdidikitan ganyan eh. Parang may balak talaga silang daldala na lang sa likod eh. Okay, so yun, ang ganda lang ng message, di ba? That you turn your failures into feedback, into learning. That's why today, we have accumulated all these mistakes from the past test takers so that we can learn from these mistakes and avoid them. Okay? Isa pa sa pinag-iinit ng ulo ni Sir Kevin is kung ano daw yung itinuturo niya sa writing, yun na mismo talaga yung ginagawa. Yung sinasabi niyang wag gawin, wag gawin. Yun daw ang ginagawa ng mga ACAD students. So, iwasan natin yung mga ganon para hindi natin siya napag-iinit yung ulo niya, right? Siya talaga. Okay. So, I hope you understand the importance of learning from your mistakes and talking about the mistakes. Okay? So, walang masama. I'm the kind of person who actually loves getting feedback. Whenever I have an online session with my students, I always ask them, can you please give me a feedback? Tell me, what do you think I should improve? I could improve in my performance or in my classes because I also want to identify what are the things that I lack, all right? Or what are the things that hindi ko pala nagawa ng tama, all right? So every month meron kaming QA dun sa work ko. Binabasa ko mabuti yung feedback kasi may mga time doon na feeling ko ang galing ko na. Tapos feeling ko tama naman lahat ng ginagawa ko. But then, there's this QA na chine-check niya yung performance ko. Doon ko na-realize, may kulang pa pala. Alright? There's always room for improvement. Okay? So, let's talk about the most common mistakes among students. So, number one is not listening to the lecturer. Okay? So, it may be because of your current condition. Probably, you have an emotional turmoil going on. Baka may pinagdadaanan ka na hindi ka nais-nais, kaya yung utak mo lumilipad. You're daydreaming during the class, okay? Sana naman hindi, kasi sayang naman yung pagpunta mo dito, right? And next one is sleeping during class. This, I can empathize with you, kasi ako din, kulang ako sa tulog right now. Hindi halata, di ba? Okay, so, I only had 4.5 hours of sleep, but the thing is, I'm used to it. And it doesn't happen on a daily. Mga twice a week lang, tuwing papasok ko dito. Because I need to wake up early. Commute pa kasi. So, yeah, I understand. Because of your job's nature, or probably you're a full-time parent. Yung mga bagets nyo, namumuyat, or whatever. Dati, we do have a lot of medical students here, mga nurses, mga nagtatrabaho sa hospitals. We do understand that your schedule is rough. Kaya naman, sleeping during class, ano ang maya advice namin sa inyo? Magdala kayo ng kumot. Next time, dala kayong kumot, malamig-lamig dito. Okay. No, we are advising you to stay home na lang. The good thing about our sessions is that pwedeng face-to-face, pwedeng via Zoom, although yung mga naka-Zoom na yan, ewan ko lang talaga kung nakikinig or talagang natutulog na. Okay, so ganito. Oo, may replay lectures. We do post the replay lectures within the day. However, iba pa rin yung live. Kasi, yung attention span natin nowadays, sobrang iksi na. Because we do have a lot of things going on social media. Isang notification lang sa phone mo, pwede kang ma-distract. So, much better na you are in a conducive place for learning. Okay? And alam mo naman sa sarili mo na listening talaga yung weakness mo. Bakit ka kung pwede namang live manood? So, if you are sleepy, don't attend the lecture. Just go to your house. Mas comfy pa doon. There's a bed, there's a mattress, kumot, aircon, or whatever. So, iwasan natin na papasa kayo sa klase ng inaantok. Get coffee, alright? Or do something about it. Sleep early, something like that, okay? Now, let's talk about number 3. Ito, gigil na gigil kaming lahat sa students na nagmamadali masyadong mag-exam. Okay. Naintindihan namin that you are pressured by your employer or kung ano mang institution or school na may pressure sa inyo right now. But the thing is, you could have prevented that pressure from not happening. You could have prevented it from not happening by enrolling in the review center months before the enrollment sa school na papasukan mo kung ACAD student ka, right? Or, dapat, makipag-usap ka sa employer mo that I need this amount of time for my IELTS. Kasi hindi naman biro yung 13.2 na babayaran mo sa exam. And kapag na-fail mo yon, you're gonna pay another 13.2 kapag 2 skills yung na-fail mo. Pag 1 skill, good thing we do have 1 skill retake. But the thing is, hindi siya good thing kasi 9K pa rin yun. O, di ba? Nagkakagulatan na tayo dito. Right. So, definitely, huwag kayong magpa-pressure sa kapatid, sa magulang, or sa employer, sa institution, kung anong petsa kayong mag-e-exam. You know yourself better than anybody else. Self-evaluate. Kasi ang ideal months na dapat tinatake mo when you're reviewing for IELTS, for ACAD students, 3 to 4 months. 6 months max. Kasi ayaw naman natin ma-oversaturate. Sa mga GT students, carry na yung 1 to 2 months. Kasi ang kailangan nyo lang naman na band score is 4 pataas, 4.5 pataas, ganon. But nonetheless, ang goal natin, yun lang ba? Makakuha lang ba ng 4.5 or 5? Siyempre, what if nandun ka na? At gusto mo na mag-apply for permanent residency. So the higher your band score is, the greater the chances are for you to get your PR approved, right? So, hindi ka na magsasayang ng another balik. Yung iba kasi bumabalik pa sa Pilipinas, dito daw mas madaling mag-IELTS, dito daw mas madaling makapasa, ang hirap daw pag sa Canada na, or sa UK na, or sa Australia na. So, imagine the hassle na uuwi ka pa, you're gonna spend for the airfare and all. Diba? So, mas okay if sigurado kang makakapag-take ka ng 3 to 4 months makapag-aral. Total naman yung binayaran yung review is good for 1 year. So, why hurry? Okay? So, yan. These are the basic things that you have to remember when you are taking your IELTS or when you're about to take your IELTS. Hindi na ako magugulat kung ba't konting estudyante today. Maraming na-traumatize daw kahapon. I'm just kidding. Hindi, madami-dami din yung students today. Okay. The students must accomplish at least 5, pero we encourage you to attend 10 coaching sessions for speaking and writing before you take your exam. Why? Ang dami naman, ma'am. Bakit 10? 2 months nga lang ang pwede. Ang meron ako. And yung coaching natin once a week lang. So how can I achieve that? So yun lang naman yung ina-advise namin. Why? Kasi the more you put yourself in the situation, the more familiarity builds up. And definitely, when familiarity builds up, confidence is also building up. Yes? So the more familiar you are with the situation, mas gumagaan, hindi ganun nakakaba, at na-anticipate mo na yung mga tanong. The questions are just recycled. So yung mga PDF file na pinoprovide namin sa inyo, gamitin nyo yun. Maximize your week. Hindi porket 3 days lang ang face-to-face sessions natin and 5 days lang talaga ang IELTS. Why don't you do some self-study? Okay? So, yung writing task, kanino ipapacheck? Kay Sir Kevin. May nakapagpa-check na dito? Okay. May nakapagpainit na ng ulo ni Sir? First time. Okay. So, there. We're announcing naman kung sino yung papasok. For example, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So, 4 na araw yun na yun. 2 sessions each kami. So, you're gonna be seeing us here twice a week kung masipag kayo pumasok. Okay? So, yung coaching session is very important. Why? Kasi, magkakaroon ka ng opportunity na mabigyan ng sole attention. Meaning, ikaw lang talaga, sa'yo lang nakafocus si coach. Pwede niyang ibigay sa'yo yung mga advice na custom fit for your advancement. Okay? That's why it's really important for you to attend your coaching sessions. Okay? Alright. Sino dito yung mga ACAD students? So we only have 1? 2. Alright, 2. Kasi the first half of this is going to be for GT. And then the second half is going to be for ACAD students. But you can stay here if you want. Kasi mainit sa labas. Huwag na kayo mag-stay sa labas. And for sure, may mapupulot din naman tayong mga aral dito. Even though pang GT or pang ACAD yung first half and second half. Okay? So, ang akala ng karamihan, in order for you to improve your writing, you need to keep writing and practice writing. But the thing is, you have to also learn how to do research. Okay? You also have to read a lot. Because when you read, you don't just gain information, you also build your vocabulary. Okay? And when you build your vocabulary, it enables you to understand your listening subtest better, your reading subtest better. It helps you because in your speaking subtest, mas makakapag-express ka pa ng appropriate vocabulary, right? That's why reading is very important. So, nakalagay dito reading newspapers, but nowadays, I doubt kung may bumibili pa ba ng newspapers kasi I think it's 20 to 30 pesos each. May mga nabibilan pa ba ng newspapers nowadays? Do you guys read newspapers? Okay. An option that you can do since karamihan ngayon very techy na. So you use your gadgets, right? Your iPads, your phones, your laptops, desktops, or whatever gadget you're using. So you can easily access a lot of online sources. Just make sure na reliable yung mga sources na ginagamit natin. So you can get sources from Google, Engu.com, MSN, CNN News, TED Talk. Mahilig din ako manood ng TED Talk because in each TED Talk video, there is a transcript na pwede mo ding basahin, right? So you can get a lot of information from TED Talk and you can also get, may mga iba pang sites pero next time I'm gonna recommend kasi I can't remember them all. All right. So, you need to be equipped with English intellectual articles, especially ACAD students. Because you need to level up your vocabulary, you have to make sure that they are academically inclined. Because IELTS is an English proficiency test. That's why we do encourage students to learn more academic terms kesa sa casual and informal English. Because you will be using that in writing and in speaking, definitely. By the way, para sa mga bagong students dito, you do have access to our computer room twice a week. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, you can come here and have the mock test in the computer room for free. I mean, kasali na yan sa bayad nyo. Every Thursday, ang coaching session. Okay, let's talk about, ito para sa GT muna tong first half. Okay, meron ba dito magte-take ng pen and paper? Wala naman. But then, we will still be discussing some of these kasi maaaring may mga magte-take ng pen and paper dito sa Zoom. Yung mga Zoom participants natin. Alright. Good news for the GT students, general training students, because your writing task 1 is the easiest thing in the world. It's letter writing. Okay? So, magsusulat kayo ng letter, but the thing is, magta-type. Okay. Few reminders. Bago kayo mag-take ng exam, exercise typing. Sino dito yung hindi mahilig mag-type sa laptop or sa desktop? Sa cellphone lang. Okay. But the thing is, ito ang problema ng ibang mga test takers. Mabagal mag-type. Alalahanin natin that your examination, the writing, the reading, and the listening, 1 hour lang per exam. So, you don't have forever. You don't have forever to keep typing. Kailangan mabilis tayo mag-type dito. Isa pa sa common mistakes. Huwag kang magmamail extension. Kasi, nung nag-exam kami, naka-nail extension ako, my bad. Hindi ako makapag-type ng maayos, Diyos ko. Pressure ako kasi yung mga katabi ko, gumagano sila, ang bilis sila mag-type. Sabi ko, ang okay mag-type. Daanin na lang natin sa content. Sabi ko, sa isip ko lang naman. Pero sobrang pinagsisihan ko talaga, naka-nail extensions ako. But that was because I attended a party before that examination day. Like, a day before, a night before. So, meaning, napaka-fresh pa talaga ng extensions mo. So, sa mga girls na nakapag-experience ng nail extensions, you do know that kapag kalalagay pa lang nun, maninibago ka pa eh. Right? So, your grip is gonna be a little bit different. So, a few days pa lang yung nail extensions ko. Tapos, I tried typing. I didn't know that it would be a problem kasi nobody addressed that problem. Paano ba naman i-address ni Sir Kevin yun? Eh, never naman siyang nagka-nail extension. So, I figured out, uso ngayon yung nail extension. Sasabihin ko to sa mga students ko para matuto sila or para hindi nila gawin before the exam. Okay? So, yun. Mahirap mag-type sa keyboard ng mahaba yung kuko. So, cut your nails before you start the examination. Okay. So, let's talk about the format of your letter. Hindi na ina-encourage na maglagay ng indentation. Alright? You have to follow the full block format. The good thing is, hindi na pen and paper yung gagawin yung exam. Nandun na siya mismo, i-encode na lang lahat. Alright? But you do have to be very careful with your punctuation. Alright? Because punctuation mistakes is very crucial in writing. Okay, let's talk about punctuation later. Since we're talking about the block format, fast forward ko na muna dito. Eto, yan. So this is the difference between block paragraphs and indented paragraphs. As you can see, may space sa umpisa ng bawat paragraph pag indented. Pag naman block, straight lang yan na ganyan. Okay? The way you can put an indentation is by clicking the tab. But then you shouldn't do that when you're writing a letter. Okay, balik tayo dito. Right. Don't put. What you should not put on the letter is the address and the name of the recipient at the top part of your letter. Marami ba dito naka-experience na ng totoong letter writing, like talagang isa-send yung letter sa post? office? Hindi nyo ba na-experience yun? Grabe kayo!
Email na rin.
Pinapipil nyo naman sa akin ang tanda ko dito ah. Pero I'm not that old. So bakit hindi nyo yun na-experience? Well, siguro wala kayong pen pal. So, the thing is, when you're writing a letter in the past, sinusulat mo talaga yung name and yung address sa taas. And then, dear, ganyan. But then, you don't need to do that anymore during the test. Okay? Sa mga GT, right off the bat, sulatan mo ng dear, sir, madam, and then comma. Doon mo ilalagay yung comma after the name. Okay? And then, saan pa ulit ilalagay yung comma? After the closing remarks. Which is, sincerely, comma, then your name. Yours truly, respectfully yours, comma, and then your full name at the last part of the letter. Okay. Don't forget the commas and the punctuations. Be very careful with punctuations. Answer all bullet points. So sa task description, definitely kailangan basahin mabuti yung instructions. Sa lahat naman ng exam, yun yung pinaka-importante. Read the instructions carefully so that you can supply appropriate answers. And the biggest mistake that you're going to do is missing out a bullet point. So kaya nilagay doon yung bullet points is because kailangan ma-incorporate mo kung ano yung nakalagay sa bullet points sa letter. Kasi if not, then that calls for point deductions. Okay? Even sa speaking test natin, sa task 2, may main question and then may bullet questions. It's very crucial for you to answer all bullet questions sa task card. It goes with writing and speaking. Okay? Lastly, know who you are writing for. Very important that you know kung sino yung susulatan mo. That's why you have to pay attention to the task description. Okay? Because your tone will be different depending on the person that you are writing to. Okay, I'm gonna show you an example. So yan. Dear Sir or Madam, comma. First paragraph is the purpose of the letter. The second paragraph is the addressing the bullet points. Yung mga bullet points, i-incorporate nyo yung mga sagot doon. The third body paragraph is the action paragraph. And then ito, optional paragraph lang to, meaning pwedeng meron, pwedeng wala. But it's good that you leave your contact details and simply thank the person that you're writing to. Okay? And definitely closing remarks. Yan yung respectfully, comma, your name, respectfully yours, sincerely yours, comma, your name. Okay? Okay, let's go back here. What are the different types of letters that GT students are going to write? Definitely, invitation letter, application, resignation, recommendation, complaint, and request. Pero yung pinaka-common na lumalabas is the complaint letter and the request letter. Okay. So, it's very important for you to learn how to communicate non-verbally and verbally. Okay? Kaya naman, pinapractice natin yung letter writing. Kasi sa ibang bansa, mahilig sila sa letters. Okay? So, hindi ko naman sinasabi na if ito yung most common, yung complaint at saka yung request letter, yan lang yung aaralin nyo. Because you really never know what will come out. Okay? Kaya kailangan pinapractice nyo yung resignation letter. Kasi malay nyo, hindi nyo bet si employer. Di ba? Attitude to Magawan ko anong resignation letter. Di ba? Okay. Yung tipong 3 days ka pa lang, sumulat ka na agad ng resignation letter. Okay. Again, you can look at the format, but don't worry, you don't need to take pictures. Para sa mga newcomers here, we do post the links of the PDF files. May mga handouts tayong provided after every lecture. So there's no need for you to secure screenshots or pictures of these. Okay? So, kaya namin din-display ito kasi ito yung makikita ng mga pen and paper-based test takers. Okay, now magsisimula na tayong pag-usapan yung mga academic writing task 1 mistakes. Again, hindi porket sa academic lang to, hindi na kayo makikinig kasi marami din kayong ikapupulot na aral dito, okay? We're going to have a short break at 11 a.m. So, 10:42 na ngayon. Alright. Before I move on with the academic writing task 1 mistakes, let me give you an advice. When you're doing your writing test, meron tayong task 1 at saka task 2. Okay? Ibig sabihin, dalawang output ang gagawin natin. Yung isa, sa mga GT, yun nga yung letter writing. Sa mga ACAD naman, yun yung statistical data interpretation. Napakahirap, di ba? Nakakadugo ng brain. But then, alin ang uunahin? Kasi ang writing task 2 ng GT at saka ng ACAD is same, essay writing, right? Uunahin ba natin ng essay writing ang task 1 or task 2? Nakalagay nga task 1, malamang task 1 dapat, di ba? But then, we are advising you to do the opposite. Ang nakalagay sa task description, you are given 20 minutes to accomplish this task. And then doon naman sa task 2, you are given 40 minutes to accomplish this task. So that's a total of 60 minutes, 1 hour. Ngayon, 150 words lang ang hinihingi sa task 1, 250 words naman ang kailangan mong ma-accomplish sa task 2. So, kung mag-spend ka ng too much time on task 1 accomplishing 150 words, tapos naubusan ka ng oras para tapusin yung 250 words, dehado ka dun. Right? Kasi dapat, unahin natin yung mas maraming words kasi ibig sabihin nun, that's where you will get higher points. Okay? Hindi ko naman sinasabing ini-neglect mo na yung task 1. Ang sinasabi lang namin dito, it's important for you to prioritize task 2 kasi mas maraming words, mas higher yung points. At medyo mas madugo siyang gawin. Okay? So, unahin natin ang task 2 para sure na yung 250 words mo. Okay? And then, tapusin mo na yung task 2. Kasi ako, hindi ko sinunod yun eh. Inuna ko talaga yung task 1, kinapustuloy ako ng oras sa task 2. Kasi hindi ako nakikinig ng lecture ni Sir Kevin. Isa pa pala ako, no? But anyways, nakapasa naman ako sa writing. Okay. Right. May angry emoji pa. At si Sir Kevin ang gumawa. Alright. Number 1, common mistake for ACAD writing task 1 is copying the task description. Okay. Let me correct this. It's okay to repeat a few words because you need to draw a resemblance, similarity from task 1 to your introduction. But then, you are not supposed to copy the whole task description. Pwedeng certain words lang para may link pa rin. Okay? Para may relevance pa rin sa intro mo at saka sa task description. But we are discouraging you from copying the whole task description. Why? Because if you use the task description in your introduction, it only goes to show na hindi ka competitive in your vocabulary and lexical resource, hindi ka rin competitive sa grammar mo. So it leaves an impression to the examiner that you're not competitive in the English language. So bakit kita bibigyan ng mataas ng score kung kinopya mo lang yung task part dun sa introduction mo, right? Ganun lang yung mentality ng mga examiner. Okay? Tsaka kahit sinong teacher naman, kapag nakitang kinopya, well, obviously, alam nila na it's not done by you. It's just copy-pasted. Kasi, ganun kami eh. I really gauge my students' level from the initial interview that we have or the initial class that we have. Nag-gauge ko na yung student ko. So, yung mga writing students ko dun sa isang pinagtatrabaho akong company, alam na alam ko talaga pag copy-pasted. Halatang halata kasi talaga eh. So, don't attempt to copy anything. Alright? So, ito yung sample ng task description. The chart shows the percentage of each region's male and female population aged over 15 who can read and write. So, ito ang isang example ng magandang paraphrase. The bar graph provides information on the male and female literacy rates in the world who are 15 years and above. The study was conducted in 1996. All right, we did copy a few words. The word male and female. Kung mapapansin nyo, hindi natin, pwede naman natin gamitin men and women, girls and boys. Pero hindi na natin binago yung male and female. Why? Kasi may information dito that they are 15 years and above. So, mako-consider mo lang na pwedeng gamitin yung girl and boy when we're talking about 15 years below. Okay? Girl and boy, 15 years below. Hindi na applicable na gamitin yung girl at saka boy when you're pertaining to someone who is 16 years above or above. Okay? That's why, mas safe na ginamit na lang natin yung male and female. And it says here, can read and write. When we say read and write, ibig sabihin nun, it talks about a person's literacy. Okay? Literate ba siya? That's why, ayan. Diba? Na-paraphrase siya ng maganda. The bar graph provides information on the male and female literacy rates. Okay, so that's how you paraphrase. You don't copy the whole thing. You don't translate each word. Translate tuloy. Hindi mo gagamitan ng synonym bawat word. But you're going to change the structure but maintain the same meaning of the task description. Okay? You can change a few words but not copy the whole thing. All right. Let me give you an example of a wrong introduction. So, the task description reads, the table below shows the number of deaths caused by earthquakes over the past decade for each country, as well as the magnitude on the Richter scale. Ito yung wrong intro. The table below shows. Let's focus on this one first. Bakit naging mali yung table below shows? Tama naman siya dun sa task description. Okay, sa mga hindi pa nakakapag-mock test, yung writing task nyo, hati siya sa gitna. Okay? So, andito yung task description tsaka yung table. Tapos, andito naman yung answer sheet mo. So, dito lang, sa second half ng page, diyan ka lang magta-type. So, yung task description, nakalagay siya doon sa part na yon. Tapos yung table nakalagay dito. Now, when you start writing your answer on the left side of your screen, wala nang table dito eh. So, bakit mo lalagay table below? Eh, asan yung table? Nandun lang sa kabila. Diba? That's why you don't need to copy below. Okay? You can simply say, the table shows, the table presents. Okay? All right. Do you understand? Is that clear? Okay, next we have the number of demises caused by earthquakes over the past decade for each country and the magnitude on the Richter scale. First of all, what is the word demises? Why should we not use it in this particular situation? Because the word demises is not academically inclined. Hindi natin siya pwedeng i-replace the word number of deaths. Okay? We can use other terms such as fatality, mortality rate. Yan, okay? Caused by earthquakes over the past decade. Bakit naging mali? Kasi kinopya lang. Okay? Again, the rule is don't copy. Try your best to paraphrase. Okay. More examples. Dapat pala yung isang account ginamit ko para hindi ako accept. Okay. Task description. The table below shows the number of deaths. Same pa rin ah. So, ito yung itong naka-red, ito yung pinaka-updated. This is a better way of writing or paraphrasing your introduction. All right, let's read it. The illustration, so magiging yung pronunciation ng V, nagiging V, hindi the, when it's followed by a vowel sound. Okay? The biglang nag-pronunciation lesson eh. No? The illustration provides the figures of the, kasi F yung following sound, consonant sound, okay? The figures of fatalities due to seismic disturbances in 10 different years for 11 countries. Additionally, the strength of the earthquake on the Richter scale is also indicated. So, why is this a better task introduction? Because na-paraphrase siya ng maayos. It sounds more professional and it sounds more academically inclined. All right? Now let's talk about fragments. When we say fragments, these are parts of speech that make the sentence sound broken. Okay? It means that the sentence doesn't make sense. All right? So these are the fragments that we should avoid. And the first one is the word while. Okay. The given example is, in 1996, Sweden recorded the highest percentage in the coffee market with an astounding 56% share, while Finland was accounted for 2% less share. Okay. If we pay attention to the first example, this is the error and this is the correction, okay? So, yung word na while, ginawa siyang pang-umpisa ng sentence, pero wala siyang nilagay na dependent clause after. Because this is an independent clause. When we say independent, sorry. This is a dependent clause. Because of the word while, tas wala siyang kaduktong. Pag sinabi nating dependent clause, it means wala siyang buong idea. It doesn't have a complete thought and it needs an independent clause. Okay? Pwede naman niyang sabihin, you can only use the word while in the beginning of the sentence if it is followed by another statement. For example, while I am cooking, My husband is cleaning the living room. While I'm cooking, my husband is cleaning the living room. So yung example na yun, my husband is cleaning the living room, it has a complete thought because it has a subject and a verb. Okay? Pero yung while I am cooking, complete ba yung thought na? No, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. While I'm cooking, yeah, okay, and what? So what? While you're cooking, right? So, that's why you cannot, hindi mo pwedeng duktungan ng while just because you feel like sobrang haba na nung sentence. Kasi nga, di ba, sa task description, don't make one sentence summary. Kaya ipinilit niyang lagyan ng while kasi nga ayaw niyang maging one sentence introduction lang. So, the correct form is astounding 56% share, comma, while Finland was accounted for 2% less share. Ayan. Okay. Okay, so another example before we take our 10-minute break. So, of all the causes of sleep-related accidents, poor motor roads brought about the greatest figure for fatalities at 72%, followed by driver's error at 65%. Again, ginamitan ulit ng fragment na followed by para lang masabing 2 sentences. So, in short, wag mo kasing ipilit kung ayaw, di ba? So, yan, kailangan nakakoma siya. Or, pwede mo din namang gawin to. Kung ipipilit mo to, kailangan lagyan mo ng this. This is. This is followed by driver's error at 65%. Then you make it an independent clause. Kapag nilagyan mo ng this is followed by. Okay? Uy, nagkasya. Alright. So, kung ayaw mo lagyan ng this is, iduktong mo siya with a comma. Okay? So there. Now we're gonna have our 5 to 10 minute break. You can stay here if you want. Okay, so we're back. So common mistake number 1 is copying the task description. Common mistake number 2 is the use of fragments while and followed by, just to make sure na hindi isang sentence lang yung intro, pero mali pala yung paggamit. And then common mistake number 3 is repetitive use of words. Why are we not encouraging you to use repetitive words? Definitely because you're not showcasing any versatility in your vocabulary. Okay? If you use the same verb again and again, it just goes to show that wala kang masyadong baon. Hindi ka nagbaon ng English. Right? So, pwede naman gamitan ng iba pang words. Kaya dapat, aralin natin yung mga adverbs and adjectives or verbs na pwede mong magamit which are academically inclined. We did talk about that in our previous lecture last Wednesday. I was here last Wednesday and we talked about vocabulary for IELTS. So definitely, you do have a long list. Pero nakalimutan ko palang i-link yung PDF file. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna do that later. So, so I did promise to link the PDF file link with the replay lecture, but I failed to do that because I forgot. Sorry. But then, you will have a copy of that later. Okay? So, basahin niyo mabuti yung mga words na pwede niyong magamit in interpreting and writing about task 1 and task 2, of course. Okay? Let's read the given example. Canada spent 15% on education in 1997, while US spent 20%, UK spent 25%, while Ireland spent 16%. Una sa lahat, ang daming percent. There are so many figures on this given sentence, which is highly discouraged when writing. Why? Because hindi mo naman kailangan restate kung ano yung nandun sa statistical data. Because the goal on task 1 is for you to interpret the given statistical data, meaning, ang i-highlight mo lang talaga is yung mga high points, low points, yung mga big changes, yung mga important changes na nakikita mo dun sa graph, sa line graph, sa chart, kung ano mang illustration yung nakita nyo. So, maraming mali dito sa example na to. Repetitive yung paggamit ng word na spend. Okay? Ilang beses? 4. Okay, it was used 4 times. Definitely, it's a no. Okay? Ang daming nilagay na figures and digits. Tapos ang dami pang repetition. Definitely, it's a wrong example. Now, let's take a look at the improvised or improved version. So we have UK splurged 25% of its budget in education, while Ireland allocated 16%. In addition, US expenditure was accounted for a fifth of the total, while Canada spent 15% on government subsidized learning in 1997. So, let's take a look at the word splurge. Pwede mo ba siyang gamitin kapalit ng spent? Yes, but not in all situations. Hindi mo siya pwedeng gamitin sa bawat pagkakataon. Why? Because the word splurge is only pertaining to the highest figure among the other figures, or the highest percentage. Because the word splurge means, in Tagalog, the word splurge means binuhos. Okay? For example, when I splurge money for shopping, okay, it means I really spent a lot of money for shopping. So, kaya ginamit yung splurge sa 25% kasi ito yung pinakamalaking percentage. Right. Next, we have allocated. Allocated means naglaan. So, ito, very versatile gamitin itong verb na to. Kasi pwede siya sa mga figures na small and big. It's safe to use the word allocated. But the word splurge, not in all situations. Okay? US expenditure, hindi ito verb. Pero, it talks about money spent. Okay? Pero okay lang kasi it still depicts the interpretation. At hindi niya ginamitan ng percentage, ginamitan niya ng fraction, which is a fifth of the total. And then yun. naubusan na talaga siya ng sasabihin na words, kaya talagang spend na yung ginamit niya. Okay lang yun. At least tama naman yung paggamit. And definitely, hindi siya naging repetitive. So this is a better example. Okay? Huwag niyo tutulan ito muna. Okay. Or else you're doomed to get really low score on your writing subtest. Ay, na-skip ako, sorry. Ayan. Common mistake number 4. Not using the block format. We were talking about this writing task 1 din ng mga GT students, which is letter writing. So when you are also doing, sa mga ACAD din, applicable to, you have to use the block format. So there, that's an example of a block format, and this is an example of the indented format. What are the differences that we see? Marami. Definitely, we see indentation. Napakadali. Indentation, ayan. Ibig sabihin, kinlik niya yung tab sa keyboard, kaya nagkaroon ng indentation. Ibig sabihin na asong. Okay? Sa bawat first sentence ng bawat paragraph. Ano pa yung hindi natin nakikita? Walang space after each paragraph. It's very important na nilalagyan natin ng space. Kasi minsan pag walang space, nakakasakal na. Hugot na pala yun! Writing yung pinag-uusapan natin, guys. So, dapat may space because, you know, it will look more organized. Tsaka yun yung block format. Huwag nyo nang questionin. Basta, ganyan lang yung format. After each paragraph. Pero may mga students ako na problematic pa rin gumawa ng paragraph. Because they don't know why. Bakit ba naglalagay ng paragraph? Paragraphs are used because you are designating one topic sentence for each paragraph. Kapag lilipat ka na ng topic, that's when you do another paragraph. Each paragraph has a topic sentence. So, syempre, intro muna. The introduction must be composed of a hook, background information. Bibigyan mo ng context muna, right? Or, yun nga, yung task description, paraphrasing. And then sa introduction, kailangan nandun yung thesis statement mo or yung pinaka-main idea ng output mo, ng writing mo, okay? And then the succeeding paragraphs has a topic sentence for each. Pwedeng isa, pwedeng tatlo, and then you should have a conclusion. Yun yung closing remarks. Sa conclusion, no more citing examples, ha? When you're writing a conclusion, summarization na lang to. Hindi ka na magbibigay ng example sa conclusion. Okay, recap. Common mistake number 1, copying the task description. Common mistake number 2, misuse of fragments. Thank you. Common mistake number 3, repetitive words. Common mistake number 4, not using the block format. Hulaan niyo kung ano yung number 5. Pinahula. Okay. Common mistake number 5 is formatting mistakes. Ito, medyo technical na tong discussion na to, okay? As said earlier, not leaving spaces between paragraphs. And this is also applicable for pen and paper-based candidates. Erasing words within sentences and leaving the spaces blank. Don't worry, I'll show you an example later. Leaving blank spaces at the end of sentences when the succeeding word can still fit in that space. And capitalization. Okay, before we start talking about erasing words and leaving blank spaces, let's talk about capitalization first. Kasi I think everyone needs a refresher lesson about capitalization. So ito, wala to sa presentation, additional information lang to. If you want, you can take down notes. The basic rules of capitalization. Rule number 1. Capitalize the first letter of the first word in each sentence. Very basic. Siguro naman, hindi tayo magkakamali sa part na yun, ano? Pero may mga estudyante pa rin makukulit. Talaga. So, basic capitalization rule number 2. Capitalize proper nouns. Okay, proper nouns. Ano ba ang proper nouns? Ano ba ang common nouns, ma'am? Kalimutan ko na, nung LM pa kasi yan tinuro eh. So, proper nouns are names of a person. Names of a person. Name of a person. Brands. Countries. Cities. Names of a place. Lalo na kung ito yung name of a restaurant. Right? What are other proper nouns? If the thing is like the title of a book. Yon. Title of a book, title of a movie, they need capitalization. Okay? Bawat word ba ng title kailangan i-capitalize? No. Kasi may mga words na, for example, determiner lang, the, or preposition lang. Hindi na kailangan i-capitalize yon. But the rest of the other words in a title should be capitalized. Right? For example, Alice in Wonderland. Alice and Wonderland, A and W should be capitalized, but the word in shouldn't be. Okay? Another rule is capitalizing holidays. Christmas, Easter Sunday. Kasi malapit na. New Year. Parehong N tsaka Y nakakapitalize Kagaya ng New Year, New York. Okay? New Jersey, parehong nakakapitalize. Yung word na new, hindi siya, pwede siyang common noun pero in that case, proper noun siya. Ano ba yung mga holidays? Holiday po ba yung pansari namin ni X? Chance. Ba't ba mga ganyan sabi ko? Alive na alive kayo. Parang ang saya-saya nyo lagi. Masaya bang pag-usapan ng nakaraan? Okay, ano ba yung mga capitalization rules? Yung word na, yung I. Right? When you're using it as a subject, it has to be capitalized at all times. Okay? Tapos, I forgot to mention, isa sa mga proper nouns is, for example, name nga siya ng isang brand or company. Pero pwede siyang maging common noun. For example, network. Okay? Or entertainment. Yung mga words na yon, if they are used individually, you don't need to capitalize that. But if they are associated with a name of a company or a brand, you have to capitalize. For example, ABS-CBN Films. Okay? What else? YG Entertainment. Say CJN Entertainment. Ano ba yung mga entertainment companies dito sa Philippines? Yung sa Korea lang kasi kabisado. Yung sa Korea lang. Ayan, kakanood mo mamaya ng ano. Ayan. Viva nga. O, ayan. Naalala ko sa lecture kahapon ni Sir Kevin. Pinakinggan ko kasing buo talaga eh. Sabi niya gano'n. Sino dito mga nanonood ng K-drama? Or ng mga Filipino series? Tigilan niyo muna yan. Dahil galit na galit siya eh. Yes, we are encouraging you to immerse in the English language. When we say immerse, it means kailangan lahat ng panoorin mo at pakinggan mo mga audio files in English. Kapag hindi ka busy, pwede kang makinig ng podcasts, right? Now, pag-usapan na natin yung erasing words within sentences. Let me show you some examples. Okay. So, itong example na to, ito yung leaving blank spaces at the end of sentences. So, dito muna tayo sa erasures. Ayan. Para sa mga pen and paper based. Good news sa mga computer-based candidates, hindi nyo na to po problemahin. Because, encode nyo na lang naman. Siguro naman hindi na kayo magkakamali, may format na dun. So, huwag mag-iwan ng spaces na ganyan if you're trying to erase something. And also, the proper way of erasing is putting a line in the middle, which is called a strike through. Okay? Strike through tawag dyan pag may X sa gitna. X sa gitna. Line sa gitna. Tao lang, sorry. I mean, yan nga, yung line. Ibig sabihin yan yung tamang paggamit ng erasure. Tapos, tama ba tong countries? Lalagyan nyo ng hyphen Tsaka i-maximize nyo yung mga spaces. Hindi porket hindi na siya kasya. Sa tingin mo hindi na kasya yung word na countries, mag-iiwan ka ng space na ganyan. Kailangan ganito. Okay, ito yung tama. Con, hyphen, and res. Basta bisyllable. Hindi yung co and then on trees. Sa mga nagdun. Bisyllable naman. Maging organized naman tayo. Okay. Next. Ayan nga yung leaving spaces. Now, ito yung mga capitalization. Yan. Yung word na finance, entertainment, web, navigation portals, search engines such as Google, World Wide Web. Hindi yan kailangan i-capitalize because they are just used as common nouns in this sentence. But if you're going to use them as a proper noun, that's the only chance that you are going to capitalize them. Okay? Any questions? Ang haba na ng lecture ko, ngayon lang ako nagtanong ng any questions. Ayaw ko talaga kayong pagtanungin. At baka hindi matapos. Itong assessment, para din to sa mga pen and paper based, hindi ko na yan i-discuss. At di nyo naman din yan magagamit. Okay. Common mistake number 6 is using all caps. Ito, siguro naman common sense na lang. Di ba? Sa writing, hindi ka dapat mag-all caps. Bakit? Inaalisan mo ng karapatan yung examiner na ma-check yung capitalization mo. Napaka-play safe mo naman, di ba? Huwag ganun. Dapat kung magkakamali ka, hayaan mo nang magkamali ka. Kasi syempre, pag naka-all caps yung writing mo, talagang mali na yung buong exam. Wala ka talagang points. Ano gusto mo? Magkamali ka sa iilang capitalization or magkamali ka sa buong text? So, syempre, doon na tayo sa iilang capitalization mistakes. Pero sana naman wala, di ba? Kasi kinarify ko naman kanina yung mga basic rules, right? Okay. So, yan. Don't use all caps. Yan. Tapos, ang gagamitin mo lang yung all caps kapag nag-fill out ka ng form ng SSS. At saka ng PhilHealth. At saka ng ano ba yun? Pag-ibig. Yun. Ayan. What else? Alright. Itong number 7. Common mistake number 7. This is not only applicable in writing, but applicable in speaking as well. Okay, but let's talk about writing first. Misinterpretation simply means hindi natin na-gets yung instruction. Hindi na-gets yung task description. or mali yung pagkakagets. Pag sinabing mali yung pagkakagets, ibig sabihin hindi na gets. Same thing. What am I saying? So yun, misinterpretation means mali yung pagkakaintindi mo. To avoid that, what should you do? Ask yourself, what is the graph all about? May nakalagay naman na title sa graph. Yun na mismo yung pinaka-topic ng graph na yun. Okay? Tsaka syempre, tititigan mo naman ng konti yung graph bago mo i-interpret, diba? How can I best simplify or lengthen the discussion? Which grouping variables will I use? Can I employ trending? Okay. What is the graph all about? Makikita mo na yan sa pinaka-taas ng graph or minsan nasa baba siya nakalagay. UK population between male and female in universities. Mga ganun. Yun yung natapat sa akin nung exam ako eh. So, ibig sabihin, doon na magre-revolve yung topic mo. Okay? How can I best simplify? Okay. As I said earlier, hindi mo na i-interpret, hindi mo na isasali dun sa task 1 mo lahat ng details na nasa graph. Kasi marami yun. You don't afford to do that because you only have 20 minutes allotted for your task 1. So, technically speaking, ang kailangan mo lang i-focus is yung mga important details doon sa statistical data na makikita mo sa writing task 1. Okay, which grouping variables will I use? Pwede ka rin mag-refer na doon sa bullet questions. Now, let's talk about speaking. Misinterpretation. During the speaking test, maaaring magkamali ka ng pagkakaintindi sa tanong. Right? So you have to make sure that you clarify the question first before you come up with an answer. It's better safe than sorry. Kasi free lang naman, walang bayad ang pagtatanong or pagpapaulit ng tanong. Hindi ka magtatanong sa examiner, what's the meaning of that? Can you define that? Mga bigla akong tanongin na gano'n. I-clarify ko lang. The only question that you can ask to the examiner is, can you please repeat the question? Yun lang yung valid. Hindi kapag tinanong ka, what's your full name? My name is Shannon Estino. How about you? Yun lang ginanon eh, no? Friends kayo. Okay, so hindi kayo magtatanong sa examiner. You're just going to clarify the question by asking it to be repeated. That's the only opportunity that you can ask. Okay? Pero pagdating sa writing, basahin mo mabuti yung data para maiwasan yung misinterpretation. Okay? Okay na to. Pagod na ako. What time is it? 11:30? Okay. All right. Now it gets a little more technical since we are presenting you a line graph. So yeah, trying too hard. This is actually a basic rule in life. Okay? Masyado kasi din obvious pag you're trying too hard, no? So, minsan kasi hindi din dapat bida-bida. Ibig sabihin ng trying too hard, bida-bida talaga yun sa English. Sa Tagalog eh. Galing bida-bida. Because pag bida-bida ka pala, bibigyan ka ng more tasks. Kaya mo pala to Matalino ka pala Sige, papagawa ko sa'yo. Yung mga dapat ako gagawa ng supervisor. So anyways, there. The topic is percentage of UK population over 4 years old. Tapos, meron tayong television and radio. Malamang, this is about consuming. Consuming tuloy. Watching. Watching television or listening to the radio. Okay? So, dito, yung data about the time And this is the percentage of the population who use television and radio. Ayan, naka-indicate naman eh. Okay, let's read the example. Careful analysis of the graphs leads one to undeniably surmise that television is highest in the percentage of watchers, while radio is a bit lower in the study. Ang daming mali dito. Ha? Okay, capitalization. Television at saka radio, kailangan bang i-capitalize? No. And then, yung mga words na ginamit, medyo highfalutin. At saka masyadong vague yung nilagay niyang interpretation dito. Very vague and quite irrelevant. Now let's take a look at the better overview. Overall, more people watch television than listen to the radio. Although a greater percentage of the populace did the latter during the morning, watching TV recorded more audience at night. Ayan. Mas maganda nga naman talaga yung pag-present nito dito. So, ayan. Yung highest trend is during 8 p.m. And then 50%. 50% of the population are watching at around 6 to 8 p.m. Diba? Lagyan ko nga ng marks. Wait lang. Okay, so here. 6 to 8 p.m. and then 50% of UK population over 4 years old. They like to watch at around 6 to 8 p.m. kasi they usually are in bed at around 8:30 or 9. Yun yung normal. Okay? So, is this a good interpretation? More people watch television than listen to the radio. Oo, obvious naman yun. And then, although a greater percentage of the populace did the latter during the morning, watching TV recorded more audience at night. Did the latter means listen to the radio more in the morning. Okay? Okay. Common mistake number 9. Writing each figure. Yan. Figure pertains to numbers or digits. Okay? So, on the first example, makikita natin yung 150,000, 100,000, 400,000, 200,000, and another 200,000 figure. Okay? So, that's how many figures? 5 figures in one paragraph. Okay? At yung binigay na better example is used only 2 figures. Hindi counted tong isa kasi nasa parenthesis lang naman siya. Meaning, kapag nilagay sa parenthesis, ibig na sabihin lang nun, for emphasis and for clarification. Okay? Pero ang ginamit niyang word ay on that same figure. Okay? Kasi, nirepeat lang din naman eh. Okay. So, why is it not encouraged to write each figure when you are interpreting the statistical data? Because, as mentioned earlier, hindi naman kailangan sabihin mo, i-point out mo yung bawat increase or decrease or bawat change na nakita dun sa data. Ang kailangan lang, yung mga pinaka-importanting changes lang. Okay? General overview that has a figure. So you can delete the percentages and just use words instead. Overall, Asia had the highest population growth rate, while North America had the lowest. Very simple, pero tama, di ba? And definitely easy to understand. Yun yung importante because in IELTS, you have to use practical language. All right? Don't complicate things. Na mali ng ano to. Okay. I already discussed this. You don't need to use the word below anymore. Be careful. Okay. In the general overview, why are we encouraging these examples over here? During the year 1960, in the year 1960, kesa sa word na during lang. Kasi syempre, additional 3 words yan. Dagdag words yan, di ba? So, pag dagdag words, ibig sabihin lang yan, dagdag points. Right? And, masasecure mo yung kailangan mong 150 words, definitely. Okay? All right, now we're going to talk about writing task 2 mistakes. This is essay writing. Ito makaka-relate na rin yung mga GT sa wakas. Kasi kanina, sa writing task 1 ng ACAD, definitely, hindi kayo dun makarelate. Kasi, hindi nyo naman din magagamit masyado. Okay. Ba't ba ako nandito, ma'am? All right, let's talk about the task description. This is an example of a task description for your essay writing. Okay? Gadgets such as cars, refrigerators, and televisions have become must-haves. This is beneficial to society. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? Give your opinion. Give reasons and examples. Okay. How many paragraphs are you supposed to write? Okay. So, according to the sources that I read, it's supposed to be 5 paragraphs. Okay? Introduction. And then paragraph 1 is... Ay, wait, iba pala to. Discuss both views pala yung sinasabi ko. So, sa ganitong task description, agree or disagree, you will first say if you agree or disagree. And then give your opinion. Choose one side only. Okay? Hindi to discuss both views pala, sorry. Yes, you need to paraphrase it. Yes, you have to incorporate your answer. Kasi sa first paragraph, andun yung paraphrase plus yung thesis statement. Dun sa thesis statement, i-state mo na doon if you agree or disagree. Okay? So this is an example of something that you should not follow. An example of something that you should not follow. Okay? So, bakit hindi siya advisable? Because obviously, it has been repeated, right? Na-copy lang siya. There are very slight changes. That's why this is highly not recommended. Okay? Let's read an example of something that you should follow. Ang hirap, no? Pero kaya nyo yan. All right. The increasing reliance of modern society on the efficiencies brought about by technology has led to the widespread use of gadgets and their incorporation into everyday life. Some of these tools have become so widely used that possessing them has become a necessity to function effectively. Although there are advantages to this, I support the idea that it does more harm than good to the community. So, ayan yung thesis statement nyo. Nakalagay na siya sa last sentence ng introduction. Okay? This is a common rule in all essay writing, that the thesis statement is on the last sentence of your introduction. You have to state your clear goal. Ano ba talaga yung magiging content ng essay mo. Okay? So, nag-agree ba siya or disagree? Nag-disagree siya because sabi niya, I support the idea that it does more harm than good. Okay? So, beneficial siya, pero it harms an individual more. Okay, this is an example of a shallow content. Don't worry, it will be provided in your PDF file. So, huwag na natin basahin. So, ito na din yung improved version. Pero kung gusto niyo, basahin niyo rin naman. So, yan yung shallow content. Ito yung better or more substantial content. In terms of transportation, people have become very dependent on vehicles such as cars and other forms of public transportation for them to be able to get to their destinations. Without these vehicles, people will have no choice but to walk, which takes a very long time to do. Practical language, easy explanation, clear idea. Tama? Yes, okay. Yeah, sobrang helpful ng lecture last Wednesday. At saka sobrang helpful din ng PDF file na ipoprovide ko today. Bakit ba kasi hindi ko na-attach? Should I do it now before I forget it? Okay. Ang topic natin last Wednesday was vocabulary for IELTS, right? And ito yung PDF file. Okay. Copy link. So, guys, attach ko siya dun sa... Ay, in-attach ko pala. Handout quiz folder. Pero para ma-notify kayo, lalagyan ko siya ng specific link. Ito yung PDF file. So, pag na-notify yan sa Wongchong, guys, yung may star na yan, yung lecture natin last Wednesday, yan yung vocabulary for IELTS. So, lahat ng magagamit yung terms for introduction, for body, and conclusion, it's all there. Kaya ang tanging gagawin nyo lang, aralin, basahin, kabisaduhin, right? Okay, another example of task description. Advertisement put pressure on children to buy objects like food and toys. Parents blame ads for the negative effect on children, while advertisers say they provide useful information. Ayan, discuss both views and give your opinion. Give reasons and examples. So, sino dito may mga anak? Ayan, mga mommies and daddies. So, yung mga anak nyo ba affected ng mga ads? Yung pag nagpapabili sila, kasi napanood nila yun sa TV or sa ads, di ba? So, kayo, do you agree that advertisements really put pressure on children? Based on my experience, it did. When I was young, I would always ask my mom to buy whatever I see on the commercials, right? Normal lang yun sa mga bata. So, it's also very pressuring because your friends have it. So, sometimes you feel like you want to have it too. You know, inappropriate vocabulary sample. Let's read it. Commercial advertisements in the boob tube are ideally designed in order to publicize a particular product. In this way, the vast plethora of the masses are made knowledgeable in the different facets of a particular product for consumption. First underlined is commercial advertisement. What's wrong with this example? Can anybody answer? Sa mga Zoom participants, you can answer this as well. Why is it wrong? Any ideas why it's wrong? Yes? Okay. Tama yung mga naririnig kong sagot, pero quite hesitant kayong magsabi at baka mali. Pero tama. Because of redundancy. It is wrong because of redundancy. Because the word commercial and advertisement is the same thing, right? Dati, nung nanonood tayo ng TV, may commercial na naman. Pero ngayon, since hindi na tayo nanonood masyado ng TV, tapos nanonood na lang tayo ng YouTube, mga replays, ads na tawag natin. So medyo nag-iiba-iba. But it's the same thing, right? Ina-advertise, ina-market yung product with a specific video graphic. So, it's either you say commercials or advertisements, but don't use them together, okay? Now, the next underlined word. Okay, very bago sa atin to, right? Kasi ang alam lang naman natin is YouTube or YouTube, however you want to pronounce it. Pero be consistent. So ako gusto ko YouTube. But yes, yung word na BoobTube, it's a term that you should not use, as well as not using terms na alam lang sa bansa mo. Okay? So, you have to use terms that are internationally known by everyone. Kasi yung word na BoobTube, isa tong channel na pinapanood sa UK only. So, the rest of the world doesn't know about it. So, why use it, right? Yon. And then, there is no such thing as particular product. So, pag sinabing particular product, it talks about being specific. Diba? So, you can't use it together because products, the word product is a general term. So, it contrasts specific and general. Okay? Next. The word we is wrong because when you're writing an essay, you have to use a third person point of view. Ay, sorry. Sa ibang essay pala yung sinasabi ko. Expository essay pala yun. I'm kind of confused. So, bakit mali yung we dito sa example na to? Because hindi mo na kailangan idamay pa. Yeah, okay? Huwag mo nang idamay pa yung examiner. Okay. Manufactured artifacts, malito because artifacts cannot be manufactured. So, ano ba ang artifacts? Yan yung mga nadidiscover ng mga archaeologists. Yung mga artifacts, yun yung the things that were made in the past. Na original pieces, right? So, definitely, it can't be manufactured. Hindi siya, pag kasi sinabing manufactured, it's being made in factories, right? And parang replicated. But then, yeah, artifacts can't be replicated. Kaya nga artifacts because they're original pieces. Now, innumerable recompenses and remunerations. These terms are highfalutin words that are not supposed to be used because it's another common mistake, which is trying too hard. Okay? Vividly parade the pleasant points of products in order to, ayan, more difficult words that are not supposed to be used. Okay? Okay. Another example of set of words that should not be used. So, bakit mali yung enlisting? Gagamitin lang yung word na enlisting kapag ine-enlist ka sa military. Okay? Then, the word prevalent. Ang ibig sabihin ng prevalent is bigger, like it's more obvious and it's more known. Okay? So, medyo redundant na siya. Kasi celebrities are known and popular. At saka, ang prevalent, ginagamit siya sa other examples. For example, local accent is prevalent in your speech. Ibig sabihin, dominant siya sa speech mo. But we can't say prevalent celebrities. We use other adjectives when we're talking about celebrities, such as popular, controversial, right? Intriguing celebrities, famous celebrities, okay? Sanction is a word that means, it actually means, yung parang, it's in the tip of my tongue. Sanction is like a parusa, right? Okay. Right, so more. Avoid Latin phrases, big words, or highfalutin words, okay? So actually, that ends our lecture for today. These are just a few more reminders that you should take note of, okay? Use simple rather than complicated English. Even in your speaking, use practical language. Yung hindi masyadong OA na words so that you can put your thoughts into, a more easy to understand and deliver kind of speech. Okay, so now let's have a quick orientation. All right? Para sa mga magpapa-coaching.